Hello everyone, I'm going to talk to you guys today about why it's so important to live one day at a time. I had my yearly eye exam recently and I was so excited to get the news from my doctor that my eyesight is actually improving. Now this is huge because I've worn glasses and contacts since I've been in 7th grade. So when you get my age, you're like, what else can be falling apart? So it was great news to hear that my eyesight is improving. But there's one part of the eye exam that I just love, and it's it's the Snellen eye chart where they put it up there and they want you to read the letters and see how clearly you can read. And as the doctor is moving the little dial, she'll say things like, is this better or is this better? And I always try to beat my last year's record, believe it or not, and I love it. And I got to thinking as I was making this video and creating a blog about it, what I could come up with that would make a story around why it's important to live one day at a time. And the Snellen eye chart really reminds me of that. When we are looking behind us or so far in front of us, things are blurry. Things are blurry because it happened so long in the past, or we just can't see them yet. But what we can see clearly, it's like the big E on the chart, is what's right in front of us. And you know, in my eyes, that's a great analogy for living one day at a time. There's a quote though. I am a work in progress. I still have trouble at times worrying about the future and dwelling on the past. But there's a quote that I laugh about because it says, kind of sums me up, and it's this. It says, I try to take one day at a time, but sometimes several days attack me at once. And it's true. Even though my eyesight is improving, I still struggle with that worrying about the future or thinking about the past. So there is a movie that my husband, first of all, let me back up and say what I used to worry about. I used to worry about, will my kids be in an accident? Why did I say that? Or why did I do that in my past? Or did we save enough for retirement? All these different things. But I'm getting so much better. Now, there is a movie that my husband and I just watched that I wanted to tell you about. Again, it just sort of sums up for me the reason why we should live one day at a time. But it's called Greater, and it's about a University of Arkansas, go Hogs, my son goes there. It's about a walk-on in the 1990s who was just really amazing. It's a great, great movie. And I would highly recommend that you watch it. But anyway, one of the scenes in the movie, the coach is saying to the main character, just to think about the few feet in front of you and focus on what you're doing now and one play at a time. And that's what will win the game. And I can't help but thinking that if we do the same thing, if we focus on what we're currently doing and not plays ahead of us, that's how we're going to win the day. That's how we're going to win the game. I read a book recently and it's called How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. A friend recommended it to me. It's such a simple book, but it's really, really profound. But in the book, the author talks about a man called Sir William Osler, and he gives a speech to Yale University, and he tells the students that they should live in day-tight compartments. Day-tight compartments. Now here's my cliff notes on that. The meaning of day-tight compartments is if there's a leak in an ocean liner, the captain will press a button and heavy iron doors will start to close on the vessel, on the bulkheads, and that will create watertight compartments. And if those compartments are shut, the ship won't sink. So if you and I choose to close our mental worry bulkheads of our past and of what might happen in the future, and focus on today, that will keep us safe. Now, I've got some tips that have helped me to focus on the present moment instead of wigging out about what may happen in the future or wigging out about what happened in the past. And the first one that has really, really helped me is to not brush those worries off. I mean, before you can tell your worries to just leave, get out of here, talk to the hand, denying them isn't going to make them go away. So identify them. What are you worried about? And number two is to stop the rolling around. Like, worries are like marbles in our head. They just roll around and they create havoc. But if you pick them up, like pretend you're picking up a worry and look at it, ponder it, write it down. What are you worrying about? Ask yourself, can I really change the past? Or what's the worst thing that could happen in the future? Or what solutions can I come up with? Or this is a good one. This has helped me a lot. What are the chances, according to the law of averages, that this event is really going to happen? So ask yourself questions like that. Number three is to learn to trust. Learn to trust God. God's grace fully covers your past, and your future is in his hands. And he is managing my affairs, and he's managing your affairs, and he doesn't need our help. When he tells us to cast our cares upon him, it really does. The meaning of cast is like a net being thrown in the water, like you're casting a net. So if you and I get into the habit of thinking about us, casting our worries at him, and then walking away, that is going to be a big thing for us to do. The fourth thing is really until bedtime. Until bedtime, by stewing on the past or thinking about the future, you're ruining today. Do what you can, do it well, and then go to bed. Dale Carnegie says it like this, and it's so good. Be content to live content to live the only time we can possibly live, and that is from now until bedtime. That's the only time we can live. And then number 5 is to be the light. Be the light to other people. If you've always been a worrier and then all of a sudden you've quit worrying or quit dwelling on the past, people are going to take notice. People took notice of me when I stopped worrying so much. And one of our goals in this world, we've got so many purposes in the world, but it is to bring value to others. And if people can see us breaking free from something that has held us down, like worry about the future, fretting about the past, they're going to want to know how you did it. And this is your opportunity to be the light to someone else. Charles Schultz, the creator of Peanuts, he was spot on when he said this. This is my report on how I live. They say the best way to live is just one day at a time. If you try to live 7 days at a time, the week's going to be over before you know it. I love that quote. So trying to live one day at a time. Let's vow to do that. Let's vow to live one day at a time. When today is over, we don't get it back. It's gone forever. So why should we spend the time stewing about our past or worrying about the future when all we have is the present, and we'll never have this moment again? So let's embrace it. Let's hold it dear. Let's live it fully, and let's be grateful for it. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you've got some comments, I'd love to see them.